What's going on, guys? Rybommy Teacher in the house, and I am here with a somewhat sad type of video. I have an announcement to make for you guys, and I'm sure that some of you guys who have been watching my videos regularly will probably not like what I'm about to say. But I'm fully aware of that, but I am going to be clean and honest with you guys. I have decided, after a lot of thinking, that my participation in the NPLA is not going to continue for the rest of the season. We had the draft for the third draft of the league last night, and there were quite a lot of things going on in that particular drafting process that made me realize what the league was lacking and where the league was going wrong, and how it just made me feel quite a lot of discomfort playing in the league. Now, as a lot of you guys who watch all of my videos know, I am an admin for the GPL. I do 4 videos for that every week. I have also been playing the ADL, which I do at least 2 videos for, because I do a breakdown and at least 1 match, depending on how I get on. I have recently just joined another league, which is going to take place of the NPLA. Which is run by my friend Exostomp. I'll have another video talking about that at some point soon. So that's going to be what's taking its place. Exo is, of course, a very familiar face on my channel. I faced him in the ADL Little Cup final. We did 3 videos on that together. He also played me in the GPL. He plays me in a couple of weeks' time as well. So there's a lot of things going on that I spread myself quite thin with my time and my resources. Even especially before Sword and Shield comes out really soon. So I had to make a decision as to what I dropped, and honestly, in terms of enjoyment factor, the NPLA was the one I enjoyed the least. Not saying I didn't enjoy it, so for anyone who's in the NPLA, I know I've already spoken to your topic about this before I made this video. I didn't not like the NPLA. I just felt like there were a lot of things that should have been done better, and it kind of caused me a lot of frustrations internally. And like, when you have so much frustration, you kind of lose a lot of motivation to play. Now, I do want to say this quite specifically. I have reached out to your topic, and I've said just because I'm no longer an active player, it doesn't mean that I want nothing to do with the NPLA at all. I'm more than happy to help behind the scenes with the NPLA. I definitely have a lot of input in where the league should be better, and it's not. But yeah, I'll talk about some of the grievances I had going forward, and a lot of things that need to be ironed out in order to make the league more effective. Because it's not a bad league, but it's not a great league either. So it's one of those situations where it's kind of that awkward mix in the middle. Now, the first thing that really did come up for me personally is when I took over the team. I mentioned this before actually in my draft breakdown, but I'll mention it here as well. Normally in a league, when you take part in a league season, you get basically free agency for that week to make whatever changes you want to make the team your own. That is something that happens in pretty much every league I've participated in except this one. And that's really frustrating, because you're basically asking someone to play somebody else's playstyle, right? Now, we did end up kind of reaching a somewhat middle ground where they basically gave me 5 changes to make. But then that later transpired to, it was 5 changes, including the 2 free agency swaps that went in the season. I protested that because I was like, well, that's not exactly fair. That's not what we originally agreed in my interpretation, so that could be my fault of misreading it or anything like that. But there was a bit of lack of clarity there, and that kind of really sucked. And that was really frustrating. Ultimately, I got the transactions anyway, but it still just didn't matter. It was still a frustrating experience for me. Then obviously comes this draft. The draft itself, I actually drafted a really cool team. It's not like I'm pretty poor in terms of my team. My team's actually really, really strong. I'm just going to pull it up now, because I forgot to put it up on this video. But the team itself is actually a pretty cool draft, honestly. So I'll talk to you briefly about some of the Pokemon. I drafted Mega Venusaur, which would have been the first time I had it. I have considered helping it in other leagues, but I never got to pick it. So I'm gutted I don't get to play it. I franchised Tapu Koko from the last draft. I had Darmanitan, Gastrodon, Silvally, Hariyama, Dusclops, Garchomp, Metagross, Dragalge, and Scyther. Pretty strong draft in general, very offensive, but really good utility options to go with it. I actually did have 2 free agency transactions in place where I dropped Metagross and Hariyama for Harlucha and Aggron. Those would have taken place for week 10. I strongly encourage those whoever takes up my draft, which might actually be the guy that I replaced. He might be coming back, so it might be quite a natural transition that I just take over from, or he takes back over from me, which I hope is the case. But yeah, if someone who's actually watching my videos who's not already actually participating in the NPLA is interested, I definitely recommend hitting me up on Discord, or just commenting on here with your Discord name. I might mention it to your topic anyway, just to let him know that I found someone who's interested. I know quite a few of you guys aren't actually in the leagues but still watch my videos, so that's cool. I do appreciate all the support. But yeah, I strongly encourage you to pick it up. I think it's a really good draft. And you're in a decent enough position to fight for playoffs. There's a lot of people around the same win-loss record. So if you win a couple of games out of the next 4, you'll make playoffs. So it's not a bad position for you to be in. And that's what kind of sucks for me, that I'm dropping, because I would have loved to have made playoffs. But at the same time, I have to think of myself here. I'm not going to go into great details or whatever about IRL stuff, but I've got a lot of internal issues going on behind the scenes that I'm struggling to deal with, and a lot of the time I'm struggling to even motivate myself to record. I'm behind on my videos as of recording this video as it is, so I've got more videos to record after this, so hopefully I can get that done, sorted out. But yeah. There's a lot of things going on that it just makes the amount of work I'm doing slightly unmanageable. But yeah, that's the main thing. So if you're interested in taking up my draft position, and if Logic can't take it over, then absolutely, definitely let me know. I'm definitely going to be interested in hooking you up and giving you a chance to play a league. But yeah. Next thing that kind of grieves me a little bit, to my understanding, the commissioner of this league actually is kind of non-existent. I don't even know who it is. I know it's not your topic, but your topic's kind of the commissioner at the moment, because this commissioner doesn't seem to exist. He's extremely busy apparently and various other things going on, so yeah, it's a rough decision. And that generally itself causes a little bit of a bad image if it seems like the commissioner is like too busy or not interested in the league. That's something I'm very fussy about. I do want to see commissioners who are active. So the fact that this particular commissioner is not is kind of concerning, because it means if there are issues going on and things like that, you have to go to the assistant who is basically running the league, and it's like, I'm not sure how I feel about that, and that's a minor thing. That's a me thing mostly. But it is something that bothers me, so I didn't really feel like that was a good thing. I obviously have talked quite a lot about how I feel like Denisio does a phenomenal job in the GPL. He's a very active presence, he even does the power ranking videos with me. So, you know, he's very much a voice in the league, which isn't a case for the MPLA. But the main reason I dropped out was the draft yesterday. The actual process involving the draft, not the particular draft like my team or anything like that. So, obviously, I don't have a problem with being in call during the draft, but the fact that it almost seemed like it was mandatory kind of seems a little bit limiting. I normally like to be doing other things while I'm drafting. I normally like to be playing a game of League of Legends or something with a couple of friends of mine. I might be in call with them. Or in the case of the GPL, when we drafted for that, I was actually in call with my friend Huddled Penguin, and I was helping him draft because he was completely new to the format, didn't know what half the Pokemon were, so he was asking me, oh, what does this Pokemon do? how can I use this Pokemon? Is this Pokemon good for my team? You know, things like that. So I was actually trying to use that call time to help somebody else. Now, I kind of felt like if I wasn't in the call for the NPLA, that I might have been penalized for some reason. It just felt like I was kind of forced to be in call, which I didn't want to be. Particularly, I don't like being in call while I draft because of basically things that do happen. Something that did come up in the draft during the whole process was certain people in the league were posting incredibly offensive memes and stuff like that, and it kind of revealed a lot about the people that I was playing with. It kind of caused issues with me personally, in the sense that I don't like playing with people who go out of their way to be offensive, particularly when it's like racist humor or sexist humor, dark humor, things like that. Now, while people were deleting those messages and stuff like that, that's fine, but the fact is people shouldn't be posting it in the first place. And if you really want to be offensive in private, right? Don't be offensive where people might actually have been offended. Now, I do want to point out, I personally wasn't offended by anything that was said, or any memes that were posted, or anything like that. I'm not offended by that. But it's very likely that someone out there could have been, you know? And it's one of those situations where you're causing an issue for no reason. And that kind of really unsettled me, especially given the fact that a couple of them were opponents I would have been playing. But again, that's not everybody in the league, it's only a select few. Another thing that really bothered me, though, during that draft process was one particular member was going on about in the chat that people were complaining that certain people were taking too long about their pick, when one person whose picks were being left were getting sniped, that person was getting sniped, and they were editing the doc all at once. I mean, that in itself kind of screams like the person that was doing that was spreading themselves too thin. There was no reason why you couldn't have had someone to help you out, right? If you're willing to reach out and ask for help, then someone will help you, right? If you needed someone to edit the doc while the draft process was going on, sure, feel free, hit someone up. I'd have more than happily helped if you asked me, you know? Things like that. It's just kind of like, you put a lot on yourself, and then that caused issues in itself. It's one of those situations where, again, if people are leaving picks for you, and they get sniped, the way I would have done it instead is I just left it until the person came back. Now, the person in question who did leave picks originally was Jason, of course. Jason did actually come back halfway through the draft. He could have easily just inserted his picks in there, and then just caught back up with the order, and then the draft could have carried on, and then there wouldn't have been the same issues that we were having. Now, again, different people handle it in different situations. The way I mentioned there is a way that I think better leagues have handled it, and that does show a little bit of an experience. That being said, though, there were some people who did leave picks that were covered very nicely, and it definitely helped. But yeah, when the person that's actually trying to run the draft is doing too many things at once, then it does hold up the process itself, and it does cause a few little issues, and that kind of showed a little bit of an experience in the drafting process and things like that, and how drafts can be run. It's something that I think probably should be changed going forward into the remainder of the season and into the next draft, which will be the playoff draft, if it does happen. But yeah, it's something that was kind of annoying for me, and it was a complaint I thought was kind of a little bit reaching, a little bit unreasonable, honestly. There weren't that many people complaining about the amount of time either, and like, honestly, like, some people were mostly joking about it, you know? It's like, oh hey, this person's gonna take 20 years to make the pick, you know, because it, you know, it's not a complaint, it's just having a bit of a laugh. And you gotta take it that way, you know? It's something that I think is interesting to me. The complaints about sniping was kind of annoying to me as well. Like, don't post in the chat that you get sniped to hell when you drafted Pokemon you didn't want to draft. That's normal. That's draft, right? Like, let me tell you this, in the draft that I made, at least 3 Pokemon were sniped from me, but you didn't see me complain once, right? Realistically. I mean, I mentioned it briefly afterwards in the free agency trade when I got Hawlucha in the trade, because the person who originally picked it up dropped it. You know, instant Kirkalucha. I was like, well, realistically, that was the only main thing that got sniped from me. But I didn't really be like, well, this bastard sniped it from me, so I'm fucking glad I got it. Like, no, I didn't do that. Right? It's just not worth it to me to whinge about sniping. If you know draft, and everyone who's played this league will have drafted at least once, you will understand that you will get sniped. It's normal, right? Just because you have a plan of this 11 Pokemon doesn't mean you're going to get that 11 Pokemon. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're whinging about being sniped, that's a you issue, not a draft issue. So it's not worth it to me. So that kind of put me in a position where I'm like, am I playing in a league that I feel like I can continue participating in when I've got other leagues coming, when my time is limited? Because I do actually need to sleep. I've been memeing quite a bit recently that I don't sleep at all. And it is something that I need to balance myself. So the NPLA had to be the most droppable because of the frustrations. I do, of course, wish the league well. Whoever takes on my team has a good shot for playoffs, so good luck to you, whoever does take over. I have said this to your topic as well. I'm more than happy to help behind the scenes. If there's any advice that needs given, any decisions that might need, anything at all, feel free to hit me up, right? Just because I'm not an active player in the league anymore, it doesn't mean I don't have any value to the league, alright? It doesn't mean I'm not willing to help. So, ultimately, that's going to be the final decision. I do apologise to those who look forward to the NPLA matches and do look forward to playing me. Again, the next 4 opponents, I do apologise that I'm not going to be playing you. At some point, if you guys want to do like an exhibition match with my team and your team, just for a bit of fun, hit me up. I might even record it. I don't know. If you guys want to record it, we might even do it in call for a bit of banter and stuff like that, whatever. Definitely let me know. I'm interested. But yeah, ultimately, this is gonna be my last video for the NPLA, as far as I'm concerned, for the time being. Doesn't mean I won't play the league next season. Just right now, time doesn't allow it. So yeah, that's gonna be it. I can't apologize enough. I do wish your topic and the rest of the league well. I don't leave with hard feelings. There's no hard feelings at all. Alright, it's just a decision that I had to make. But yeah, either way, I'm gonna get on out of here so I can continue recording videos. Look forward to my next Draft League announcement. I've got 2 breakdowns coming, hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I've also got at least 1 match still to play tomorrow, potentially 2. I haven't spoken to my GPL opponent yet, but hopefully we can get that sorted. So yeah, I'm gonna get on out of here before I carry on rambling. My name is Rabombi Teacher. I'm your coach of the Royal Bournemouth Rabombies. Stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.